Hi guys, I was debating whether to speak on this one or not, but there is actually a message, and it's not about the actual situation, but it's about what I learned in particular during this particular event. So there are such things as people that are spiritual bullies, and for whatever reason that they are bullies and they want to push their weight around and see themselves as better than everyone else rather than teachers and compassionate, whatever, that's because perhaps they still have a lot of work to do on their own inner healing and their own trauma, whatever. We can, as spiritual beings in this community, see why people do things, but it does not mean that we have to always tolerate it. Anyway, in this particular scenario, I was personally attacked and told all kinds of things that weren't true. I know my own heart, and I was made to feel unwelcome and pushed out of certain spaces. And I did speak my truth about it in the end, but I look back at what was said, and I gave grace and I gave compassion to every thorn that was being thrown at me, to the point where I was like, okay, enough. This isn't healthy, and I don't have to tolerate this. And so I removed this person. And I'm a big girl. I can do that, but it's not to say that it didn't hurt, because it made a big effect and a big ricochet on a larger picture. However, I left it and I walked away, and God lets you learn from these things. And people that can understand energy, words don't even need to be seen or heard on paper to know when somebody is spreading that rubbish about you. I could almost sense when I was being talked about in rooms that I was not in anyway. It wasn't about me. I moved away, and that whole scenario pushed me into my music big time. And I just almost switched communities, switched places like in a flash. I was in different spaces, being involved with different people, different communities, different scenarios, and there was success. Anyway, things come back around for a reason, and I consider myself a bit of a mama bear. And I became aware that this was happening because two people came to me and felt that I was a safe space to basically say the same. The same thing was happening to them, and I don't go around gossiping about people or sharing stuff or speaking ill of people just for the sake of it. You know, if spirits like that needs to be spoken about, then fair enough. But I've kept quiet about this for a very long time. But ironically, prior to me even arriving at this space, I was told that I was there for a reason, and it was to reveal some very sneaky energy. Anyway, these two people came to me, and they felt, that they could talk to me. And in that scenario, I was able to say, "You're not alone. That has happened to me." And it suddenly all clicked into place for these people, that they felt seen and heard, that it wasn't just happening to them as an individual. Anyway, the point of this is not about the details or names and fate. It's not about that. Because everything that we go through is an opportunity for us to grow. And I know from experience that every time you meet, it's like a video game, right? You go through levels, and in order for you to go through levels, there's always a boss at the end that you have to defeat. And it's like you might have to try a few times to defeat that boss. And I know that whenever I have grown, there's some kind of boss or some kind of energy that I have to defeat, or to defend myself, or set a new precedence within me that makes me stronger in order for me to continue into the next season, right? Because we're always growing. And I know that I've kind of moved into a completely different arena, and if I didn't know how to handle myself in what's supposed to be a safe spiritual community, then blow me that I'm going to be able to survive in places where people are not aware. So yes, we have to learn lessons sometimes, right? Yeah, so this information came to me, and it's one thing for someone to come at me personally, but when someone comes at people that I care about, this mama roar came up in me, and I was like, ooh, not my cubs, not my cubs. And so I went for a run, and I was very angry. And I was like, I've stepped away from this. This isn't about me personally. This is about them. And I care deeply about these ladies. They've become very good friends of mine. And damned if I'm just going to stand here and let this happen. But I prayed for wisdom, because I didn't want to get involved either. Like, I don't want drama. But I was like, Spirit, what do I do? So I sat and I prayed for wisdom. And Jesus came to me and he just went, shh, this one is not your battle, but I want you to allow these girls space. Yeah, allow these girls space. And I said, look, girls, this is not my battle. I'm not going to initiate anything on your behalf. I could have done. But Spirit said this is an opportunity for these two girls to be crowned and to grow some strength of their own by facing and standing up for what's going on here and speaking their truth and coming into their power and getting their boss energy, you know. And so I saw them both being crowned by this awful experience, or this very unpleasant experience, as an opportunity for them to be crowned in some more glory, where they were going to, you know, get their stripes. And so I said, look, girls, I'm here behind you. If you need me to clarify anything, I'm right there. But I really think this is an opportunity for you both to be in your own power, to do what it is that you feel is right for you to do. Anyway, without giving too much away, they went and dealt with it in a way that was appropriate for them. And they set boundaries within themselves, and they spoke their truth, and they found their inner roar and their inner fire. And I watched them be energetically crowned. And it was like a moment. I was like, that's a very proud moment. Because you can't do everything. Like, as mothers, I don't want to get emotional. You have to give your children opportunities to grow. You can't fight all the battles for them. And you can't steam in and do it, like, otherwise they never learn how to do things for themselves, and they never have that beautiful experience of knowing what it feels like to have grown. So that was the message today. Like, don't always expect someone to come in with a cape. As someone that is very aware that I pioneer things, there is no path where I go, right? It's such a blessing sometimes to know that that everything that you go through is inspiring others to stand up for themselves, to grow, to be in their power, to do things that they never thought they could do, to go after their dreams, to chase their purpose, to become the archetypes of who they believe that they can be without shrinking away from things, because that's where we grow. Often we're like, oh, why are we having all these difficulties? But it's in those moments that we grow the most. Iron sharpens iron. And yeah, I've got a lot of love for people. And I just keep going, guys. And I know, because Spirit's told me that I keep seeing myself jump into ships and reposition people and put them in their rightful place, and then I move on to another ship, and then I do the same there, and then I move on to another ship. I believe I position people or help people grow to see where they should be standing and what they should be standing for, and then I leave. And that's always kind of upsetting, and sometimes I find it hard to understand. But when I look at the changes that you can have on a person, sometimes you might just go in and see one person change, but that's enough. Like, it's like Jesus leaving the 99 for that one sheep. Yeah, and although I've only been in this this new new ship, this new area for a little while, I'm already having a feeling like, ooh, it's time to go again. It's like, and sometimes you're leaving, you can still see the ripples of your journey, and it's hard to believe that you're moving and the ripples are still there, but you're not there. But I want to tell you this: the ripples of where you go are energetically echoing out, whether you like it or not. How you use your energy and how those ripples look on people is up to you. You can come in and yes, there's been conflict, but you've helped someone grow, and at the heart of things you love them, or you just cause awful ripples. So anyway, just to finalize, remembering this lovely old couple who are no longer with us, and they came to me and they said, Bex, you're like a poppy seed, and if you know how poppies, they blossom, and then all the black seeds, they're blown by the wind. Like where the seeds go, it's where the wind carries the seeds, and wherever the seeds land, a new poppy will grow. But the important thing about poppies is that they grow in places of war and destruction and hurt, but they bring life. And I know that it's not always easy and it's not always that clean cut, but my heart is to bring life to people, and in their war and in their hurt, to awaken something in them and to love them back to life.